Regrettably, no such intimation was received in my office in this instance, reflecting a clear violation of established parliamentary procedures and disregard for institutional protocol. On 7th March 2025, in the continued exercise of my authority under Rule 84(1) of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Senate 2012, I issued production orders once again for Senator Ijaz Chaudhry and also for Senator Aun Abbas. In partial compliance with the order, Senator Aun Abbas has been produced before the Senate today. However, yet again, the directive concerning Senator Ijaz Chaudhry have not been fulfilled, amounting to non-compliance with the lawful orders of the chair. This is not an unprecedented situation. When I was the Speaker of the National Assembly, a similar situation arose where production orders were not implemented. At that time, in the interest of upholding parliamentary privileges, I was compelled to refer the matter to the Privileges Committee. Once again, this House is faced with a situation where the orders of the custodian are not being implemented. As Chairman Senate, my only endeavor is to uphold the supremacy of Parliament, rule of law, and constitutional dictates. As per Rule 71 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Senate 2012, disobedience of the orders of the Chairman Senate constitute a breach of privilege. Such disregard of parliamentary authority cannot be allowed to persist unchecked, as it threatens the institutional integrity of the Senate and broader democratic framework. Therefore, I in exercise of my powers in accordance with established parliamentary procedure, I hereby refer the matter of non-implementation of the production order concerning Senator Ijaz Chaudhry to the Privileges Committee for its consideration and report. Leader of the Opposition.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Janaab Chairman, ये टर्म गुड टू सी यू चूँकि इतनी एक लोडेड सी टर्म बन गई है तो मैं आपको खुश आमदेद कहूँगा और चश्मे मारोश लेमाशात अगर हम आपके मौजूदगी से इस हाउस का वज़न बढ़ा है, इस हाउस का वक़ार बढ़ा है और मैं ये समझता हूँ कि ओहदे जिस तरह पहले भी कहा गया, ओहदे इंसान को नहीं बनाते बल्कि इंसान ओहदों को बनाते हैं। इज़्ज़त ओहदों की वजह से नहीं होती है, इज़्ज़त जो पोजीशंस आप लाइफ में लेते हैं या अपने उस दौरान जिम्मेदारी लेते हैं वो आपकी हैसियत को और आपकी इज़्ज़त को डिटरमिन करता है। और मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि आप इस बावजूद जिस तरह के माहौल चल रहा है, जिस तरह के गुज़श्ता 2 सालों से एक पार्टी को जिस तरीके से निशाना बनाया जा रहा है, उसकी जो परेशान कुन बात है कि वो इस ईवानों में भी उसकी बू आ रही है। अब मैं खुशामदीद कहूँगा, मुबारकबाद दूंगा हमारे नए सेनेटर कासिम साहब को, असद कासिम साहब को, कि वो इस हाउस का हिस्सा बने हैं अपने वाले साहब के इस्तीफे पे जो कि उन्होंने दिया, उसको फौरी मंजूर किया गया और उसका फौरन इलेक्शन अनाउंस किया गया। Whereas शायद हम वी आर द चिल्ड्रन ऑफ अ लेसर गॉड, पाकिस्तान तहरीक इंसाफ की सेनेटर सानिया निश्तर, अ वेरी अकम्पलिश्ड लेडी, उनका इस्तीफा 18 सितंबर से दिया हुआ है और उसका इस्तीफा नहीं कबूल हुआ। वजह यही है कि वो सूबे जिसमें कि पाकिस्तान तहरीक इंसाफ की नुमाइंदगी को छीन लिया गया है और वहाँ पे हमारी नुमाइंदगी नहीं है, तो अगर कोई सेनेटर वहां से हमारा इस्तीफा दे तो उसका भी कल कबूल हो जाएगा, इसलिए कि जी दोबारा इलेक्ट हमारा वाला नहीं होगा, केपी से कोई होगा उसका इस्तीफा नहीं मंजूर होगा। केपी के ये वो सूबा है, मैं बदकिस्मत सूबा नहीं कहूंगा बिकॉज हम उस सूबे की एक बड़ी शानदार रवायात है, उसकी शानदार हिस्ट्री है, हजारों साल पुरानी हिस्ट्री है। हमें फख्र है कि हम खैबर पख्तूनख्वा के
Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, for hosting this crucial meeting at a moment of profound urgency for the Muslim Ummah. Excellencies, we also commend the OIC Secretary General and the Secretariat for their swift action in convening us today to address the catastrophic situation confronting our Palestinian brothers and sisters. We meet today as Gaza endures one of the darkest chapters in its history. More than 48,000 innocent Palestinians, mostly women and children, have been killed mercilessly. The entire fabric of Gaza's society has been torn apart, with more than 90% of its infrastructure, including homes, schools, hospitals, businesses, has been torn apart, with more than 90% of its infrastructure, including homes, schools, hospitals, businesses and places of worship, reduced to rubble. This is not destruction, it is an assault on an entire people's existence. The scale of suffering is beyond condemnation. It demands immediate, decisive and united action from the Muslim Ummah. After 17 months of relentless killing and devastation, the ceasefire facilitated by Egypt, Qatar and the United States offers a glimmer of hope. Pakistan welcomes this agreement and commends the mediators. Yet, we must not mistake this pause in violence as the arrival of peace. The situation remains precarious and fragile. The uncertainty surrounding the implementation of the agreement underscores the urgency for a permanent and just peace. Excellencies, while we speak today, our Palestinian brothers and sisters are yet again facing horror of death and despair. The flow of humanitarian assistance into Gaza has once been halted. Such cruelty during the holy month of Ramadan is highly condemnable. Blocking aid is a war crime, further accelerating the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, where the vast majority of the people rely on aid for their sheer survival. The fate of Palestine and the entire region is hanging by a thread. We need to scramble as a collective force to save Palestine. Excellencies, the ceasefire must be honored in full, including the commitments for a smooth flow of humanitarian assistance. It must lead to the implementation of its 3 phases and the permanent cessation of hostilities in all occupied Palestinian territories, including the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Israel's eagerness to revive the war and to resume its campaign of violence must be thwarted with a united resolve. Excellencies, peace cannot be sustainable as long as actions by Israel in the occupied West Bank continue. Military raids, sectoral violence, and illegal land annexations intensify with every passing day. These are not isolated incidents, but part of a deliberate strategy to erase Palestinian identity from its homeland. It is ethnic cleansing in real time. Excellencies, the international humanitarian law remains under brazen assault in the occupied Palestinian territory. This must stop. Israel must be held accountable for its serious violations and grave breaches, for its willful and wanton disregard of international humanitarian law. The UNRWA last year mandated the convening of a conference of high contracting parties to the 4th Geneva Convention. We regret that contrary to our expectations, the conference of high contracting parties could not take place in Geneva and deliver on its mandate. Excellencies, the Muslim Ummah must take it unequivocally clear. Any attempt to forcibly relocate the Palestinian people, whether from Gaza or the West Bank, is ethnic cleansing and a war crime under international law. The OIC must categorically reject any proposal that seeks to eject the Palestinians from their own homeland. No external force has the right to dictate their future to the Palestinians. They must determine their own future through an exercise of self-determination. The OIC must stand united against any sinister agenda aimed at altering the demography of the occupied Palestinian territories. Excellencies, we also strongly condemn the arrogant statement by the Israeli Prime Minister suggesting that the Palestinian state be established in Saudi Arabia. This is an insult to the entire Muslim Ummah. Pakistan expresses its full solidarity with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and commends its steadfast support for the Palestinian issue. Excellencies, this is a defining moment for the Muslim Ummah. History will not judge us by our words, but by our actions. The Palestinian people do not seek statements of sympathy. They need concrete measures to end their suffering and secure their liberation from Israeli occupation. The OIC must rise to this challenge with unity, resolve, and purpose. Another Nakba cannot be and must not be allowed to happen. Excellencies, to move beyond the perpetual cycle of violence and destruction in the occupied Palestinian territory, Pakistan recommends the following urgent and decisive steps. First, the full and immediate implementation of the 3 phases of the ceasefire agreement. This includes a permanent cessation of hostilities, the complete withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, unrestricted humanitarian access, and a comprehensive reconstruction plan. Pakistan fully supports all for implementation of the UN Security Council Resolution 2735 of 2044. A ceasefire that does not lead to a sustainable peace will only delay the next catastrophe.